Her second of the game, 3 minutes into stoppage time. 5-0 it finished then to Arsenal, who go top of the fledgling WSL table. Chelsea still 13-8 favourites to retain the title, with the bookies down there in fourth. Manchester City 11-4 third favourites. Arsenal setting the pace. Going to be a lot closer. We saw Manchester United beating Tottenham yesterday 1-0.
Yeah, that's right. It's just showing that every game counts. It matters every point. But like you say, it's so close, so competitive at the top.
Arsenal setting the pace, but Manchester City want their crown back. They felt very hard done by with the decision to take it to Chelsea on a points per game basis last season. I don't think really the authorities had any other alternative, did they, Laura?
No, that's right. But I think as a player, you just want everything as much as possible in your control. So when that does happen, you do feel disheartened. You do feel a little bit of injustice. So that will be fresh in their minds, though, that, knowing the Man City team, they will want to get that title back and prove their worth.
Steph Houghton there, Manchester City captain, England captain, in terrific form this season. Scored an absolute belter of a goal against Arsenal in the FA Cup in the semi-final, taking them to Wembley in a couple of weeks where they'll meet Everton. She's in terrific form, played alongside Gemma Bonner and will do again today. They do have an alternative there, a very interesting one in Alex Greenwood, who's nominally a left-back, of course, but brought back into English football to maybe slot inside alongside Steph Houghton there.
Yeah, I think with Alex Greenwood, because of her left foot, she offers balance. If you do want to play her as a centre-back, she offers balance to Steph Houghton, who's right-footed. But it's just cover, isn't it? It's depth. Alex Greenwood can play, like you say, even in a forward role. Like she could play as a wing-back, left-side centre-back. So she offers that depth in defence, which arguably Man City have lacked the last couple of years.
But they didn't trouble that Chelsea defence in the Community Shield anywhere near enough. It's a very settled Chelsea defence, isn't it? Berger in goal, Mjelde, Bright, Eriksson and Anderson as Manchester City take to the field. A very settled Chelsea back four. Yeah,
that's right. And add in the five with Ann-Katrin Berger. But there's so much competition for places in the midfield and forward line that actually, like you say, that back five, it's consistent. They work so well together. They've been able to build up partnerships.
Lucy Bronze back in the starting lineup. Only her second game in WSL since she returned from
City. She's dominant down that right hand. Play not only in keeping a clean sheet and defending arguably against Harder and Kirby, but also going forward, driving that Man City team forward.
There's Magdalena Eriksson, the Chelsea captain, who scored an own goal a couple of minutes into stoppage time in the FA Cup semi-final a couple of years back up at Manchester City. I seem to remember with City going through to the final. Yes, Ellen White, as we mentioned, can score goals from wherever she is. She knows the spotlight is on her. She is a global superstar. The Australian. Chelsea with the 3 changes from the league win at Birmingham. Pernille Harder, European Footballer of the Year, gets her 3rd start. She replaces Guro Reiten, who scored 2 in the midweek cup win over Arsenal. G comes in for Sophie England. Samka looks for that 3rd goal of the campaign in place of Beth England, having missed 6 chances in the 2-0 Community Shield win over Manchester City at Wembley in August. That's Emma Hayes' team. Manchester City, couple of changes from last weekend's 4-1 win over Tottenham. As I was mentioning, Lucy Bronze fit to make a second WSL appearance since that return from France. She replaces Esme Morgan. And Jess Park, brilliant in the midweek Continental Cup win over Everton. She earns her first league start of the campaign in place of Ginny Becky. US international Sam Mewis, been in terrific form so far in the UK, but compatriot Rose Lavelle only on the bench, having scored actually in that cup victory in the week. Confirmation of the substitutes for you. Very strong looking benches now for the top teams in the WSL. That is a noticeable addition this season, I think, Laura, the strength and depth on the bench.
Yeah, 100%. But I think because both of these clubs are looking to dominate in Europe, they want to be successful in Europe, and to do that you need strength in depth. But also it's going to be so pivotal for the league campaign, and as you can see, they've got huge changes that they can make.
So the referee, Rebecca Welsh, will be getting us off and underway in just a few moments' time. She took the Community Shield. She took the 3-3 last season up at Manchester City Academy ground just before the lockdown. It effectively sealed the title for Chelsea. Georgia Stanway that day had a penalty save for Manchester City. Had it gone in, Emma Hayes' team would have been denied that title on such moments. The fickle fortune of footballing fate can turn. Lucy Bronze back, famous away victory for them. They lost 2-0 at Wembley against Chelsea in the Community Shield. Last season they were beaten by 2-1 here, and the 3-3 draw in Manchester denied City the title. They've got a new manager this season. You've just seen him there in the dugout, Gareth Taylor, who played for the men's team for quite a while at Manchester City, was part of the Division 2 playoff winning side at Wembley in 1999. Famous game that was against Gillingham in the May Day spring sunshine. I was there in the commentary booth that day as well. It's less hot here, grade A down in south west London, as we pause for the start of the game. Just holding for the whistle. It's International Day of the Girl 2020. And Chelsea warmed up in the colours of Plan International, a global charity protecting young girls. Welcome to those watching on NBC in the USA. The players take the knee in the constant battle, football against racism. And off we go. We are underway. Manchester City in their change strip, the all-black kit against Chelsea in their famous all-blue, the pride of London, Chelsea Football Club. It says there in the stand. Once again, we do not have supporters in the ground. If you're unaware, we are in this period of post-lockdown, but pandemic restrictions, supporters not in football grounds in the UK. Sam Kerr immediately tries to poke it through, and Fran Kirby thought she was fouled there. Let's hear the first opinions then. During player, former Chelsea player, former England player, Laura Bassett.
It's really interesting how these two teams are going to start the game, because they're both teams are full of confidence, scoring goals, 100% belief. Normally one of these two teams, come into this big game, underconfident, having to prove something. But these two teams are both coming off the back of really convincing Continental Cup wins in the week. So, they both teams will have full belief that they can win this game. So it'll be really interesting to see which players really step up in the moment.
Manchester City won at in-form Everton by 3-1 in that Continental Cup competition. In all competitions, Chelsea had a thumping victory here against Arsenal in that Continental Cup. It's the English League Cup, to make sure that it's a difference between that and the FA Cup. A tough draw as well. Chelsea, Arsenal, Tottenham and London City Lionesses. It's a regionalised draw, and that they started very well. Chelsea on the front foot here. Here's Kerr, lays it out wide then to Erin Cuthbert, who's had a fine start to the season. Cuthbert, he's attacking down that left-hand side, gets the cross in, headed away at the heart of the defence by Steph Houghton, and comes back out to Jonna Andersson. Andersson, the Swedish international, linking up well with Cuthbert again. In comes her cross, and it's headed away by Gemma Bono. Didn't play in that midweek cup game. Harder turns it away to Fran Kirby. They've got some terrific players in this Chelsea side. Ji here, the South Korean international, is one of the best on the planet, the top scorer in South Korea's history. And there's a free kick for the challenge on Ellen White, who very much will be the outball for Manchester City and crucial in that today.
Yeah, she will, but look how deep she went there to help her. Her team were under pressure. She has to come deep to try and connect the pass, so relieve the pressure and allow her team to get up the pitch.
First league meeting of last term's top two, but at Wembley in August there was no competition between the two really. Manchester City beaten by 2-0. Chelsea by far the better team that day. Cuthbert got the second, but Millie Bright scored a terrific opening goal. It's off Fran Kirby, who is brimful of confidence again. 5 starts this season in their 6 games. Came on for just over half an hour in the week. Why is that significant? Because last season she only played 6 games in all for the club. She suffered from a serious illness called pericarditis. They hadn't diagnosed, so off form and so off colour in the World Cup in France, and it was a perplexing problem, but it's a joy to see her back playing so well for her club. That's Chloe and the Manchester City side can play on either flank, but she'll roll in off that left-hand side where she's already scored 4 goals this season. Forward then by Kira Walsh, who's played every minute of Manchester City's 7 games so far. Kelly Well marshalled back there. And I think she came from an offside position. Got a bright start, hasn't she, Chloe Kelly?
Yeah, she really has. You know, you forget that she's a new signing to Man City this season. She's fitted in seamlessly. It feels like she's been there for years, because Man City have a real unique style, really stick to their philosophy and how they play. And she's just fitted in so well. She's been so impactful, and arguably she's probably the first name on the team sheet. That's how well she started the season this year.
Weir. Very, very much the first choice Manchester City midfield trio. You'll see here Walsh anchors the midfield. Mewis will play to the right and Weir to the left-hand side. And Mewis was fulsome in her appreciation of Weir when she first signed for the club. Are you surprised that Sam Mewis has settled into the team, given the way they play so effortlessly, as Kelly picks up on that? I'll come to you in a second on that. She looks for White through the middle, well marshalled by Eriksson, comes back out for the drive, off target by Chloe Kelly. A word from you on Sam Mewis' start in this familiar way they play.
I mean, having watched so much of her in the NWSL, you know, she's such a powerful midfield runner. She reads the game so well, and so I haven't been surprised actually. I think she's settled in out of the American players that have come over. She's been the one that's settled in the quickest. But you know, and also what I like about Sam Mewis is she brings the best out of everyone else around her. She's such a selfless team player, and more to see from her.
There's a possible attack down the right-hand side for Manchester City to start this season. Came against Everton in the Cup in the week. She was player of the match and scored in that game. Only a youngster. There is this concern that with all the global superstars coming into the WSL, that homegrown youngsters won't get a chance. Georgia Stanway, for example, isn't in the Manchester City starting lineup, but they are giving youngsters their opportunity. With the likes of Park up towards Kerr, beaten in the air by Horton G. And here's Cuthbert, who's no veteran, she's only 22. Lucy Bronze, poor clearance away by her. Cuthbert, busy, buzzing as she so often does. And G comes back now to the heart of midfield, where Melanie Leupolz, the German international, who again has had a very, very good start to her career in England, was on hand. Wide it goes for Jonna Andersson to get the cross in. Beaten in the air there by Walsh, who was back defending. There is Leupolz. Didn't really catch it properly, and it was bending while she sat out that midweek cup game to give herself time to prepare. But what are your thoughts on Melanie Leupolz's start in England? Yeah,
she's come in and she's impacted herself. You know, last year, you know, it's a big sign. Last year, Sophie Ingle was the dominant midfielder. She was there. She was a mainstay, but she just anchors well. She can box the box. She's that all-round midfielder, and she has everything.
Wears 8. She says she is a natural 8. Now, if you're an older viewer, you'll know that the 8 was an inside forward position back in the day. But just describe the difference between an 8 and a 10 there. G's wearing 10 and Leupolz is wearing 8. Where would that differ?
Yeah, an 8 would tend to, the role and responsibility would be box to box, energetic, you know, back defending, going into both boxes, really making an impact. Whereas 10, the G, you know, the G role, Ji So-yun, you know, she needs to link up with the forwards. She'd be more creative, control the tempo of the game. Is it slow? Is it quick? What does it need? So, you know, she has maybe potentially less defensive roles, whereas the 8, Leupolz, is really, you know, has a key. She has got to win a lot of first and second balls in the midfield to keep possession of the ball.
Here's Mewis now for Manchester City, and Kelly's very open, good breezy opening 7 minutes as she takes on Mjelde on the outside. Kirby, interestingly, doubling up there with Maren Mjelde to give her some support. The Norwegian captain might need it on that right side of the Chelsea defence. I bet you weren't even born when they were inside forwards, were you?
No, but I've been told from my dad, so...
Yeah. It made me feel bad.
No, I wasn't born.
There's some great inside forwards back in the day, and then all the formations changed and change again, but it comes back to the same thing, 11 against 11, and the better teams are the more fluid teams that can change formation in a blink of an eye, and both of these are capable of that. And Emma Hayes, a terrific tactician there on the bench for Chelsea, who's well, she's done it all, and she started her coaching career out in the USA with the Long Island Lady Riders. She was the youngest female head coach in WE League history at that stage. She went on to Iona College in New Rochelle, New York, and then came back to the UK. And apart from the Champions League, she's won everything there is to win, and that is now the real aim, isn't it, for these two teams, the Arsenals, the Manchester United, they come through to start dominating in Europe.
Yeah, that's right. That's got to be the key. That's got to be our next progression. You know, we get to semi-final of the Champions League, but, you know, we need to take it that one step further, because we certainly have the competition. We've got the players now in the league. You know, arguably we've got some of the best players in the world, the top performers. So there's no reason why. We need to, you know, start dominating, really compete with Lyon. And I think these two sides have that now.
There's Millie Bright. Going to be really competitive, I think, this season. Everton are doing very well. They've just gone 2-1 up against West Ham, by the way, back in front. Lucy Graham has curled one in from outside the box into the top corner. They'll be 100% if they win that. They're doing very, very well. And by the way, also today, Reading Birmingham, that was goalless the last time.
The season so well. She's, you know, she's fearless. What I like about her, she loves to defend as well, and she's fearless. She'll go at any defender.
Really seemed just, I don't know, out of rhythm, not ready, undercooked for that Community Shield. Manchester City, they really didn't show up on the day, but they're feisty in this and very competitive. There's a good challenge there by Park, who will challenge in a feisty way for the ball. The manager has acknowledged that, and she's come through very well. Millie Bright, also good start to the season for her. 4th highest number of WSL passes last season for any player as Chelsea played out from the back. Millie Bright did very well during the lockdown period. She had a thing called Millie's Match Day Challenge, and she set up various competitions for people online. Try and keep them busy, try and raise money for the key workers. And here's now Bonner for Manchester City. Into Weir, and Walsh just tucks it back to England's current #1, Ellie Roebuck. She sat out that midweek game in the week, I noticed, as Karen Barsley played her first game since the World Cup finals. She went to France as England's #1. Young Roebuck has sort of taken that position at the moment. Too far the ball there for Demi Stokes. Did a lot of football in the USA at college level with the South Florida Bulls, did Demi Stokes. 71 games, 19 goals for her. Here's Weir inside the box now for Manchester City. And Kelly couldn't protect the ball, but Walsh will maybe win it back. Bonner did, but G will set up a Chelsea counter-attack here. They've got the pace of Cuthbert. Harder wants it in the centre-forward position. Sam Kerr was arriving. She'll play to Harder. Chelsea are in here. This could be #1. Good recovering challenge by Lucy Bronze, who got there. Absolutely vital interception by Bronze to get back there. And Leupolz took a long high deflection and a loop headed away by Stokes. Now Bright for Chelsea. Poor ball. A little bit frantic at the moment, perhaps, for accurate passing, but Fran Kirby looks for really Bright on the overlap. And Stokes is there to cover England colleagues, and she tucks it away. Fran Kirby was in front of Weir. G can't get there. Here's Sam Mewis, and she absolutely gulps ground with that long stride. 5'11" is Sam Mewis, one of the tallest in WSL. She's keeping out of the side. Jill Scott, who I think is the tallest. Now at the period of her life where she's a player coach at Manchester City. Good ball in by Mewis. Alan White. Here's Park. Bronze arriving. But Park going inside, and now sees the gap. And across comes Eriksson, the steady Swede, and the great left foot who clears it away. And Mewis. Now comes here to Bonner. And Stokes. And Kelly. And the game just now getting into a more regular rhythm. Was a bit frantic there for a period, wasn't it?
Yeah, it certainly was. I think when any team regained possession, it looked like they were going forward, really trying to get into that final third and test the keeper, but neither team actually ended up testing the keeper, but they're just trying to find their rhythm. And like you say, we saw some great defending and great recovery runs from Man City, because that was certainly a really smooth counter-attack from Chelsea, but couldn't quite, get that shot off in the end.
Ellen White, we saw closing on the goalkeeper there, has 48 WSL goals. Will she be the first ever to get a half century? Miedemar's second goal today for Arsenal took her to 49, and that's level with the all-time leading scorer Nikita Paris, who's now the European champions, Lyon, of course. And Ellen White would dearly love to get to that record first. Here's Cuthbert, though, for Chelsea. Fleet-footed on the break again. Anderson to Harder, and it's deflected away by Bonner. Might have been creeping in. I think Robert possibly had it to cover. Bonner made sure corner ball.
Yeah, we wondered whether Harder would play central or out from the left, but she's very much central in this game, trying to link up with Sam Kerr. She just picks up that position behind the Manchester City midfield, and it's really hard to pick up. And you can just see, you know, whenever she gets a shot or goal, she's going to release that with a left foot or right foot, and it's a good block in the end.
105 goals in 114 games for Wolfsburg, Pernille Harder, before she moved to Chelsea. Her partner also plays, Magdalena Eriksson, at the back for Chelsea. Will come forward, I would imagine, here to threaten the goal. A corner kick that will swing in now. Mjelde, the right full-back, will take it towards the near post area. It's half cleared away and thumped high, but thumped over with power by Sam Kerr. Does get herself into good positions to score. Hasn't had a regular scoring run yet, though, this season.
No, it's a good position picked up from Sam Kerr there. She reads the first flick on, picks up round the back, and it's just that half volley, isn't it? She needs to get over the ball, try and keep it on target. But it's really smart, because often a lot of corners, the opposite team win that first contact, and they often go out to that back post. So it's a really good position picked up by her. 35 goals in 43 games in her year at Chicago Red Star. Prolific when she played in the US and also back in her native Australia is Sam Kerr. Holds the all-time scoring record in the Australian League. But in the US, she was fairly prolific for Sky Blue and for the Western New York Flash, where she won the NWSL Shield. Leupolz cleared away by Walsh. And now Eriksson. And they'll come down this left-hand side. Oh, we've gone out wide there. Crossed by Anderson. Is blocked. Now here's G. Cuthbert with the run. Can they get the cross in here now? Cross in the middle. It was blocked. It was Anderson who tried to get that cross in. Difficult to pick out a defensive Chelsea midfielder at the moment. G is playing so high. You've got Leupolz in there virtually by herself, really. And then you've got Cuthbert wide on the left-hand side. Very adventurous. Sam Kerr now tracking back. And you can see how high Chelsea are as a team, you know. They got 6 players in the Man City opponent's half. You know, really high, really aggressive, on the front foot, wanting to win back the ball as quick as possible. Kirby
did just that. Harder. Ball popped up for her as she tried to get the cross in, which meant a boot got underneath the ball and lofted it through straight to Ellie Roebuck. Last 15 meetings between these three clubs, by the way. Fairly symmetrical record. 5 Chelsea wins, 5 Manchester City wins, 5 draws. You can see how even it's been between the two sides. Nothing much between them over the last 2 or 3 years. And then you had Arsenal winning the league season before last as well. Here's Chi. Lovely weight on the pass to Kirby. If she can get there, no, it just slipped away.
Defending, we know her attacking qualities and strengths, but this season I haven't seen her defend. A willingness to get back, and we've already seen her getting back, helping Marion Mjelde, doubling up on Chloe Kelly, you know, and she just does it with ease. Normally, when you ask forward to do that, they don't like doing it, but it's comfortable. She does it with ease, and it looks like she's enjoying doing it. You know, she's a big asset to this Chelsea team.
Arsenal beaten Brighton today, 5-0. Everton lead West Ham 2-1. Dahlia pulled it back to 1-1 at one stage. Sorensen had put Everton ahead early on, and Reading 0-0 with Birmingham. There's a 2 o'clock kickoff here in the afternoon in the UK. It's another bright run by Cuthbert, whose movement is causing trouble to Manchester City. Harder on the edge of the box. Hit it well enough, but hit it off target.
you can just see the space. When Lucy Bronze jumps out, there's space behind her, and that's what Erin Cuthbert is capitalising on. She's down, it draws Steph Houghton across, but look at Erin Cuthbert, she goes straight at the defender, so they're backpedaling. And Harder's picked up that space on the top of the box a couple of times now. So Man City, whether that's Kira Walsh, really need to try and man that space in between the two centre-backs to prevent Chelsea from shooting from that range.
273 goals she has scored for club and country, Pernille Harder. You don't give a player who has scored 273 goals that much space on the edge of the penalty area. Alarm bells should be ringing out on that Manchester City dugout down below. Our cameras here at Kings Meadow. And with AFC Wimbledon, who are planning to move back to their old Plough Lane ground. Not far from here. Here's Stokes. But, it's Chelsea's ground for the women at this moment in time. This match brought to you by Atta Football. For free access to more premium European women's football content, visit attafootball.com. Here's Kirby. In comes across. Horton met it. Stokes first to the loose ball. Might just have been clipped there, but the flag stayed down. Very experienced referee is Rebecca Welsh, by the way. This is her third Chelsea-Manchester City clash in a row, as I was saying. She took the Liverpool 3, Man United 1 Continental Cup game in the week. That's a rash clearance away by Robert Kerr. Sets it up here then for Harder and Leupolz. She's the deepest of the Chelsea players. And then ahead of her, really, it's Kirby, Harder, G, Kerr, Cuthbert. It's like a old-fashioned front five. Back it goes to Millie Bright. Had a strong season last season domestically. Millie Bright had her concerns in the World Cup where she was sent off, you may remember. Semi-final heartache for England's women again. But domestically she came roaring back to form. She had a good start this season, Millie Bright. And she's on the ball again. When she was 8 days old, she had pneumonia, she had asthma, she had whooping cough as a kid as well. So it's terrific, really, to see what she has done in her career. She was a striker, Millie Bright. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
When she first came into football, yeah.
I knew her as a centre midfielder, you know, a big presence in the centre midfield, winning first and second balls, and we've already seen her distribution. She plays a lovely diag ball, switches the play well, and she's got good ball pace when she plays it. So she has a range of distribution in her locker, and she regularly displays that. So from a centre midfield position, but yeah, we've seen her now at centre back doing those passes.
She was at Doncaster Bells with Paul Green, who's part of the coaching staff at Chelsea, has been for a couple of years. There's Gareth Taylor, the Manchester City coach, Welsh international in his day, played 642 senior career matches, over 130 goals. Here's Lucy Bronze, pokes it away down the line to Sam Mewis. They're being careful with the number of games Lucy Bronze plays at the moment. She went through to the Champions League final and won it with Lyon, of course. Gee, bit of a reckless back pass rescued by Eriksson. Leupolz, good challenge on her by Walsh. Here's Caroline Weir, unsung in that Manchester City midfield, but has had a brilliant start to this campaign. Here's Walsh, pursued by Harder and Stokes. Now Chloe Kelly, signed from Everton in the summer, as Laura was saying early on. New signing really for Manchester City, has settled so quickly and so well. Here's Steph Horton, 120 times she's played for England. And here's Sam Mewis, 67 times she's played for the USA. Oh, she's hit the post. Mewis strikes the woodwork. Kelly, turn the defender inside out. Cross just deflected, I think, by Millie Bright. Manchester City have won the corner. Mewis goes closest to scoring early on.
that's the impact that we know that Sam Mewis can have. Look at this run, she just powers past people, and I didn't think she'd be able to get a shot away, but Ann-Katrin Berger, she had it covered, but it just kept curling round and hitting that post in the end. But that's Man City have just upped their tempo a little bit. Chloe Kelly can do in the box. You have to stand.
That corner kick. Sam Kerr back defending, will clear it away. Sam Mewis has always scored goals wherever she's been. She signed from the North Carolina Courage side, where she scored 14 goals, around about one every 4 games for them. Challenge Cup semi-finalists, I think they were in the summer, or quarter-finalists, I think they were in the tournament that was arranged during the pandemic closure of the league system over there. Bit of a limp there for Chloe Kelly. Mewis was terrific for the USA in the World Cup winning side. She won the Under-20 World Cup for them some 8 years ago. And here's Walsh. And once again, Jess Park up through the gears. Can she get away though? Good fullback play by Jonna Andersson. Really good fullback play by Andersson. She knew she was going to be beaten in a straight run there, didn't she? But she just cut across the angle well enough. Yeah,
that's right. Although I think from that shot from Mewis, I think it's given confidence to Man City. We can see Chloe Kelly up the levels, Man City, and now Jess Park. Look at that. That's exactly what you want to see. But like you say, it's really smart defending. I'm not too sure where the corners come from. I thought it was a goal kick myself.
Very bright youngster. Comes from Hull, up in the northeast of England. Weir with the corner kick. Left foot swung far post, testing for the goalkeeper, and Katrin Berger. It's not yet away. Lucy Bronte. Oh, there's a problem. Who's that gone down for Manchester City? That's a real problem there, because as she turned, she fell awkwardly, and it's the captain. That's always a worry when you see a player go down having turned. Let's have a look. Went over on her ankle, it seems to be. Or she just clipped there. Was she clipped there after the ball had gone by Harder? In which case it should have been a penalty.
Yeah. It's really difficult to see, isn't it? But it's a great corner, great delivery from Weir, asking a lot of questions. Berger didn't have it covered. And Steph's done really well to go out in the back to keep it in play, keep it alive. But it certainly looks like her ankle's causing her problems.
Concern then for the Manchester City and England captain. But let's just talk about a Scottish international for a moment, because I mentioned she's underrated in that Manchester City midfield. And viewers in the USA may not know too much about Caroline Weir. She played 3 times in the World Cup finals for Scotland last summer, but I think she's had a wonderful start of the season. It was a terrific ball in. I think that might have been a penalty, you know.
Do you think? I don't think there was any intent there, though. I think that Pernille Harder wasn't even looking at the player. But it does look like there is contact, that she did step on her foot. But
what about Caroline Weir for you?
Yeah, she offers really good balance in that centre midfield. You've got 2 right footers in Kira Walsh and Sam Mewis, so adding Caroline Weir in there offers the balance, the left footed. She's got great distribution, and she really can find any of the 3 forwards at any time. And she's a ball carrier. She can get Man City up the pitch. She's confident in carrying the ball, drives into the spaces, and we've already seen her score some fantastic goals last season especially.
Everton seem to have wrapped up the victory against West Ham. They now lead 3-1 deep into stoppage time. Lucy Graham with her 2nd goal of the game. It would move Everton to 12 points, maximum points, 4 games played, 4 games won. Arsenal already on 12 with their 4th win in 4 earlier on against Brighton. So you've got a situation, if Manchester City lose this, they'll be 5 points off the top of the table, and in WSL football that's a big gap. Yeah,
it's insane, you know, because we're so early on in the season. But, you know, Man City, for example, having already dropped points against Brighton, which you wouldn't expect. It was a great defensive performance from Brighton that day. And then, like you say, having potentially, you know, if they did lose this game, that's a huge gap. You've got to do a lot of catching up, and you've got to go and beat a lot of teams to get that back.
West Ham, by the way, would have just the 1 point from their 4 games played. It was on the opening weekend away at Spurs, who desperately need Alex Morgan. She watched on yesterday in the defeat by Manchester United. Went to pass a little bit of advice on to young Ayan, who played up front for Spurs, but they need a fit and goal-scoring Alex Morgan very quickly. Here's Weir now for Manchester City, who are having a dominant spell in this game. Here's Bronze. Goes up through the gears, puts the afterburner on, and the cross is deflected away by Erin Cuthbert, who's stuck with her all the way. We thought she might start on that left-hand side, but she's often played, but she can play in a more central position or in the 10 role, but we thought she'd guard against the runs of Lucy Bronze. This is going to be a throw to Chelsea. Cuthbert doubling up with Anderson on the one side and Kirby doubling up with Mjelde on the other. Yeah,
really interesting battle going on between Lucy Bronze and Erin Cuthbert. And knowing both of them, you know, they're both serial winners. They won't back down from this battle. So, you know, it's really interesting to see who's going to come out on top.
Here's Bronze. And now Bonner. Steph Horton, body language suggests she wanted the ball played out wide. There's no way Bonner could have delivered that the way she was facing, because Sam Kerr was watchful. Here is Horton. Been in the wars actually in the last couple of games. Steph Horton had a couple of bashes to the head, and she's a fierce competitor. Now to Bronze, it slipped away from her. Frustrated. Silver ball winner in the World Cup finals last year. Second best player in the tournament. Here's Walsh. Back to Bonner. Not a good ball from her. Oh, we're out to work there to win it back. Here's Demi Stokes. And back to Bonner once again. Rarely misses a game, does Gemma Bonner, but she was left out in the week.
Look how high and aggressive Chelsea are. They're really trying to win it back in Man City's half, really on the front foot, being really aggressive, more aggressive than I've seen them play this season.
Game's ebbing and flowing, isn't it? Man City got off to a decent start, then Chelsea had a good period, then Manchester City got on top. Here's Mewis, ran into a brick wall called Magdalena Eriksson. And an ambitious chip forward by Pernille Harder. We haven't seen the best of Harder yet, I don't think, anywhere near the best from Europe's Footballer of the Year. Not yet for Chelsea, she settles in. Wonderfully gifted. Here's Demi Stokes. Defensively reads the game so well, Demi Stokes. Alex Greenwood is probably a better attacking fullback, more dangerous with set pieces. But I don't think there's any surprise today in a game of this magnitude that Stokes was picked at left back. The guard against Fran Kirby, who scuttles across there. Now Weir. It's another bump, this time from Millie Bright.
You can see the two centre-backs, Bright and Eriksson, you know, whenever a midfield player or the centre foot or White drops in to get the ball, they go in deep, they go into midfield, they go with the forward to really stop them turning, and often you'll see them give a foul away because they're so aggressive.
Get a chance to see the goal she scored against Manchester City in the Community Shield at Wembley, the English women's, and she doesn't get many. Jonna Anderson has missed the one game this season against Bristol City, but is the regular left back, and she was a striker early on in her career as well. She was very successful with a club called Linköpings in Sweden. One start in the World Cup against the USA did Jonna Anderson, but is a regular alongside her compatriot Magdalena Eriksson in this familiar looking Chelsea back four. And Katrin Berger, goalkeeper, keeping out another erstwhile England keeper in Carly Telford, who played England's last two games in the World Cup last summer, in place of Karen Bardsley, was injured. Looped forward by G. An easy save for Ellie Robert to pick up and start another Manchester City move from the deep.
You could see what G was trying to do there, really creative. A cheeky flick, and normally because she knows Sam Kerr's going to be in between the two centre-backs, you know, if that had a little bit less weight, Sam Kerr would be straight onto that, and that's what we do that's what you expect from G, those creative passes, and she's always forward-facing, trying to feed the forwards.
Chance here for Kirby, fleet of foot, that took a double bounce. They go Stokes last or Kirby last, it's a corner ball. No argument from Demi Stokes. It has been a feature in WSL football, women's football in England over the years, the lack of dissent, which is great to see. And Demi Stokes knew that came off her last. No histrionics, no theatricals, no mock appealing for situations that you know you've lost. And long may that continue. Corner ball. And Chelsea will take it here then with Mjelda, which means it'll swing away right-footed. Comes out to Cuthbert, hit it crisply. Well, big appeals there for handball. And given against Ellen White. Cuthbert with the drive, White flung herself at it. And she's going to get a card for her troubles as well. And she's saying she didn't touch the ball with her hands. Well, I just said that you don't see dissent in the women's game. You certainly don't see it from Ellen White. And if she's protesting that strongly that she didn't, but it never touched Ellen White, it may have come off Demi Stokes' flank.
No, I think it actually did touch Ellen White, Jonathan. It's really hard to see in that slow-mo. You think it'd be easier to see it in the slow-mo, but, you know, it's a great strike by Erin Cuthbert. When she first hit it, I thought, you know, there's so many players, it's never going to reach goal, but Ellen White found herself on the floor already, and as she got up, it did look like it hit her arm. It's difficult to see in that slow-mo.
Well, Mjelda scored against Manchester City last season. Takes the penalty and puts Roebuck the wrong way. And
both teams have had good spells in the game, but it just happens that between these two teams in this huge game, anything can happen. Set pieces, and what a wonderful strike that is from Mjelda. She's so cool. She loves these big pressure moments because you can always rely on her.
Scored in the 2-1 win here this season in the league, and gets her second of the campaign this time around. One of the players who didn't play in the week, they kept her fresh for this. Can be a regular scorer from that right full-back position, got 5 in all last season. And this is the strongest Chelsea side she says she's ever played in. An advantage Chelsea. Just know Ellen White so well, as you do, of course, having played so many times with her for England, and I don't think Ellen would protest like she did if she wasn't sure it was not handball. Yeah,
you're right, she certainly was very animated. She's a very honest, hard-working player. And you can see just by pressing Ann-Katrin Berger, she's angry. You know, she really wants to set the tone now. She's got, you know, maybe she feels like there's an injustice and she has to prove something now, because you certainly see an intent from her straight away.
1-0, Chelsea lead. Away here then for Jonna Andersson. There has been a tweaking of the application of the handball law in England over the last couple of weeks, where referees now are going to be kinder to defenders when it hits them maybe on the arm in the penalty area. They're going to take into consideration the position of the arm in respect to the player's movement. If the player is falling, for example, and they use the arm to defend themselves as they fall, it hits them on the arm, it's not going to be a penalty. They're also taking into consideration the distance the ball travels. Well, that did travel a long way, so that's not an argument in the defence of Ellen White. But I think that Manchester City will feel very hard done by there. Chelsea, of course, will say it was a Stonewall penalty. Good climb by Horton. Up until last season, Manchester City were the more dominant side in this fixture in more recent campaigns. But the worm has turned, as they say. Here's G. And Anderson is seeing a lot of the ball for Chelsea down their left-hand side. You have to worry about the right-hand side of the Manchester City midfield. Is young Jess Park being bypassed too often? Out against Mewis. Have to foot in there on G.
Look at G, we don't, you know, she's getting back the goal side, really trying to stifle Mewis's play to prevent her playing forward. And, you know, that's not G's strength, but she knows she's got to do it today. If they're going to keep hold of the lead, they're the defensive responsibilities that she's got to uphold.
Haven't seen it again, but I have seen a website suggesting that the ball didn't hit Ellen White and did hit Demi Stokes on the flank.
Oh,
So,
your eyes are better than mine then, Jonathan.
1-0 to Chelsea. It's very difficult to see and at speed. The referee has to be absolutely sure, of course. Here's Cuthbert. Lovely run to the dead ball line, pulls the cross in. Going to get this match brought to you by Atta Football. For free access to more premium European women's football content, visit attafootball.com.
Look at Cuthbert here, you know, she's having an absolute field day. She's been so impactful. And you just know when she's on the ball, something is going to happen. She's so reliable, gets across him, makes things happen, like for the penalty. She was the one on the end of it, having a shot. She just makes things happen. You know, we have all these big stars, but Erin Cuthbert is the one that delivers time and time again.
Corner kick for Chelsea, second, and at this time of the game, could be absolutely crucial. And Mjelde can be so destructive with a set piece. Right-footed in towards the heart of the penalty area. It's dropped loose. Horton couldn't get it away. Someone needs to put their boot on that. As far as Manchester City are concerned, Leupolz had an effort. She's there again on the half-turn, blocked by Gemma Bonner, it was, on the 6-yard area, who got the block in. Now here's G. It's all Chelsea towards the end of this half then. And they get it back through Anderson, who's had a good first half. Across the edge of the box was blocked by Stokes and cleared away. Cuthbert and Anderson down the left have been very productive for Chelsea, and Walsh is caught by the high press again. Here's G. Such energy levels for her and intensity. Mewis. Now Lucy Bronze, who's very strong. They tried to pull her back there. Anderson, she's away. Lucy Bronze, can she finish? Rather dragged the shot, I think it was. I don't think she was looking for White in the middle and dragged it wide, but that's what they need to see from her.
Yeah, exactly. That's on 41 minutes. This run from Lucy Bronze. Look how determined she is. She shakes off the tackle from Anderson. No one can catch her. And again, I don't think she sees that Ellen White's tightly marked by Millie Bright. I don't even think she sees that.
I think that hits Demi Stokes in the midriff, right on the flank, top of the thigh, perhaps.
I don't think it helps because Ellen White's on the floor, so she's getting up, and they're directly behind each other. So from the referee's point of view, I don't think that helps by her getting up and then her turning her body again.
And if you're wondering as you watch on in the USA or anywhere around the world today, tuned into this WSL game, why that didn't go to VAR, there isn't VAR in the competition. Finances are improving all the while, but not to that extent. One 1-0 Chelsea lead, and views contrasting whether or not Ellen White handled that. Can't say for certainty, can you? But the referee has to be 100% sure. But here's Lucy Bronze. Gets it back again. Suddenly, Manchester City have seen a way back into the game down the right-hand side with Anderson pushed up so high. The cross by Park into the middle, looking for Ellen White, and calmness by Katrin Berger. Steady in that Chelsea goal. Remarkable she's playing football at all. She suffered thyroid cancer in 2017. And she was back playing within a matter of months, I think it was, if not weeks. Bronze. Millie Bright underneath it. Mewis hasn't really been able to get into the game for Manchester City for long periods. And again, look at the press there, Leupolz on the back of Weir. Here's Stokes. They're not letting Manchester City settle on the ball at all, Chelsea.
No, that's right. I think with the Chelsea, the front foot press, I think the Chelsea midfield have dominated Man City's midfield, which is really interesting because normally Man City's midfield is so controlling, they dominate the game, and they're the heartbeat of everything that this Man City team do, and that's why I think Chelsea are probably on top, because they're dominating that midfield area.
Well, Manchester City have had 55% of the ball. They've only had a couple of efforts, none on target. Chelsea have had 7 shots on goal. The one on target beat Ellie Robot from the penalty spot. Clearance drops to Sam Kerr, and that high Chelsea press will block any attempt to get the ball out.
I think Ellie Roebuck has tried that ball to Lucy Bronze a couple of times, and Sam Kerr's working so hard to cut it out. They know it's coming. It's as though they tease Ellie Roebuck as though to play it there, and then that's it. As soon as the ball leaves their feet and it's in the air, they're going to high press and they're going to stifle it and force the error.
Here's one for you then. Your coach has told you to play it out like that, 3 minutes stoppage time to play. You play it this way. You play. This is the way I want to play. Is there a moment in a game where the players go, hang on a minute, as a group, this isn't working, we're going to change it ourselves?
Yeah, that's what top players do, that's what top teams do. And you're playing it, you're seeing the picture, you're identifying it, you have to change. And then have the conversation, especially so close to half-time, have the conversation with your coach then. But that's what top teams do, they make in-game decisions.
Nora Bassett, member of England's bronze-winning team in Canada 15 in the World Cup finals. And I think once or twice in that competition, the players may have just decided, we're going to do our own thing here, we're going to change things a little bit during games.
Yeah, because often it feels so different when you're playing it. The picture looks, you know, it's easy from when you're standing, when you're commentating, when you're looking on the picture, but when you're feeling it, when you're feeling the pressure, that's what you have to trust your gut and you have to trust your teammates and communicate that.
A ball up here for Chelsea. Harder has it. They do look dangerous when they come forward. Harder, a little chip in. Next goal in this game could be vital, not just in the context of these 90 minutes, but for the first half of the season. And here comes Chelsea again with the ball out wide to G. First time cross, looking for Kerr, who got across Gemma Bonner. Did everything right except find the back of the net, really.
Yeah, I'm sure that Gemma Bonner would have thought she would have had control of that situation, but that's what Sam Kerr's so good at, coming out late, fast, the timing of the run and to direct it. You know, the next chance that she's got, I've seen her score plenty of goals like that from crosses.
Great competitive spirit, Sam Kerr. Grandad was a boxer, but as a kid she hated soccer, as she calls it, as it's known in the USA, of course. Her dad and her uncles played Aussie rules football, and she was a big Aussie rules fan. Park, well marshalled. Look, 2 players on her, but she's done well enough there. Offensively, she can cause problems with Lucy Bronze. Defensively, I think we need to see more determination from her. White turns it back to Mewis, who had the effort that hit the post, let's not forget, and comes back to her. Ooh, as it's cleared away, Mewis went through with the challenge and apologises. You could hear the thunk from where we are. She was pulling the trigger to have a shot on goal.
Yeah, strike it.
And Mewis gets the yellow card for Manchester City. Eriksson, one of the top defenders in European football. Part of the Swedish bronze medal winning side in the World Cup finals in France, beat England in the 3rd/4th playoff. Half-time at Kings Meadow. Chelsea lead Manchester City by a goal to nil. Your thoughts here on the first half, Laura?
I've been really impressed with Chelsea, to be honest. Even Ann-Katrin Berger, her distribution then has been on point. But what I think's really set these two teams apart is the intent, the high press that Chelsea are doing. They're really stifling Man City. But having said that, Man City did enough in the final third.
And it's Chelsea who lead here at half-time with that penalty, controversial as it was, by 1 goal to nil. See more determination from her. White turns it back to Mewis, who had the effort that hit the post, let's not forget, and comes back to her. Ooh, as it's cleared away, Mewis went through with the challenge and apologises. You could hear the thunk from where we are. She was pulling the trigger to have a shot on goal.
Yeah. Strike it.
And Mewis gets the yellow card for Manchester City. Eriksson, one of the top defenders in European football. Part of the Swedish bronze medal winning side in the World Cup finals in France, beat England in the 3rd/4th playoff. Half-time at Kings Meadow. Chelsea lead Manchester City by a goal to nil. Your thoughts here on the first half, Laura?
I've been really impressed with Chelsea, to be honest. Even Ankertrin's Berger, her distribution then has been on point. But what I think's really set these two teams apart is the intent, the high press that Chelsea are doing. They're really stifling Man City. But having said that, Man City enough in the final third.
And it's Chelsea who lead here at half-time with that penalty, controversial as it was, by 1 goal to nil. Welcome back to NBC viewers in the USA. Some of you would have got up very early to watch this one, I guess. It's late Sunday afternoon, sunshine in the southwest of London. We're around about on a good day, 40 minutes drive from the centre of London down here at Kings Meadow, home of Emma Hayes, Chelsea. On a bad day, that's around about a 4.5 hour drive to the centre of London as the roads get occasions. No fans in the grounds though at this moment in England, where Manchester City, pipped for the title of England last season, have it all to do. I can't think there have been any changes so far. I think there will be changes in this second half for Manchester City. Will we see Rose Lavelle come on, do you think? Yeah, potentially. We saw the introduction of her in the week. You know, she certainly can make things happen in that midfield, or she might play up top, but she certainly makes things happen when she's on the ball. She's so smooth and balanced. And she rides tackles, and she certainly can play those through balls. So I'm sure they will be looking to introduce her at some point in the second half. Game that's ebbed and flowed. Emma Hayes will have her positives, that's for certain. Chelsea, after going 1-0 up, was certainly the dominant team. Manchester City started bright on target, but Manchester City haven't troubled them enough this season. As Chelsea kick us off in this second half here in this WSL clash, having won the Community Shield at Wembley in August, when I think memory serves me correctly, Manchester City had 3 shots on target in the game, something like that. So in 1.5 games against Chelsea, they've managed 3 efforts on target. Not good enough. The newest effort that hit the post doesn't count. I always think that shots that hit the wall should. You've hit the goal frame at least. Anyway, it's a minor point. It's a Manchester City in possession in the dark strip with Gemma Bonner. And they are kicking in this second half from right to left, which means that goalkeeper Ellie Robert will be staring straight on into the dipping sun. Might just play a role, that, as the afternoon goes on. And the wind is stirring as well. Noticing that flag on the far side. A bit deceptive, the breeze. Should be turned away here easily for Chelsea. It wasn't, though. And back come Manchester City. A rare error by Eriksson, who didn't get it away. We're now for Manchester City. They just part to get the cross into the middle, and Demi Stokes will try and keep this alive. She's got to go some to get there. Demi Stokes couldn't quite keep it in. She has got pace, Demi Stokes. She's a tenacious character, former Vancouver Whitecaps and South Florida Bulls player. Cleared away to Sam Kerr, the much travelled Australian World Cup star. That's run out of play. It'll be a Manchester City ball. Harder floated in and out of the first half very dangerously, Laura, didn't she?
Yeah, she did, and she especially when she picks up the ball, when she's in control of it, she looks for Sam Kerr straight away. Erin Cuthbert is there, Fran Kirby is always making runs, so she's definitely the connector between the midfield and the forwards.
A terrific season, goal-laden season for Wolfsburg last season. I think it was 25 goals for them, and she's been in goal-scoring form as well for Denmark in the current European qualification campaign. She scored 5 in 5. The finals due to be played next summer in England, but have been delayed 12 months. Men's European Championship finals due to be completed at Wembley Stadium next summer. They were due to have been played this summer of 2020, of course. Everything put on hold due to the pandemic. Calmer start in terms of pace to the second half, a bit less frantic. Stokes, look at Fran Kirby closing straight away, forced the error. I'm not saying Manchester City haven't worked hard, Laura, but Chelsea have been the harder working of the two for me. Would you agree?
Yeah, and I think more committed to the press, believe that they'll win it back, more aggressive. Normally we see Kira Walsh in the holding midfield dominate the play, control the tempo, but she's really not been able to control this game yet. She's not been able to get on the ball because that midfield is stifling her of Chelsea.
Harder has been pushed out further to the right-hand side to team up with Kirby at the start of the second half. Kerr can't play any part in that. She'd have been offside, and Lucy Bronze should turn it away. But again, the press on her by Erin Cuthbert in this Chelsea galaxy of stars has certainly shone as bright as anyone else. Erin Cuthbert, who picked up a new deal with the club in July. The regular goal scorer for her country with 10 in the last 16 games for Scotland. A couple already for Chelsea. We've got goals throughout the side. Here's Stokes. Gives it away. Kirby on to G. Running at the Manchester City defence. Took on Walsh. It comes to Kerr. Little set up there for Cuthbert. Clean strike, but wide it went.
You could see G running with the ball and Sam Kerr trying to stay onside. But when G eventually releases it, it's easily cut out. But there you go, Erin Cuthbert's always around in the right positions. She reads the game so well. I've seen her score from those positions. You know, she's got a mean, fierce strike, and she's not afraid to use it.
Chelsea have a little bit of a gap after this to their next game. It's on the 4th of November in the Continental Cup against Tottenham. They missed the next round of WSL fixtures due to play Aston Villa. Now Villa's 2 fixtures, that one and the one due to be played this weekend, both postponed because they have players down with corona, tested positive for the virus. They're due to play Bristol City this weekend. So they've got a little bit of a gap. I want to go into that gap with a victory. Manchester City, of course, have one game to play after this in the WSL away at Reading, and then they have Everton in the FA Cup final at Wembley Stadium. They don't actually play a home game until the 7th of November, Manchester City. They're on their travels a bit. That's cleared away by Plugger. She was under good pressure in there then. You know, that's Anna White is a willing worker, will chase every lost course. Referee just having a check on the Manchester City striker, who in her career has had 3 cruciate knee ligament injuries. She broke vertebrae in her back, and she's battled through them all. And I'd say is one of the most deserving players in WSL football. Here's Demi Stokes. And now Chloe Kelly. Started the game brightly, then faded.
Yeah, I just don't think she's had enough of the ball. I think every time she gets the ball, they're doubling up on her and defending her really well.
Chelsea here with Kirby, looked very dangerous. Kerr's at the far post, aimed at her. Should have scored. Should have scored there. She attacked the ball well enough, but got underneath it. It's a perfect setup for her, and you'd expect Sam Kerr to be absolutely burying those opportunities.
Yeah, that's right. Look at Fran Kirby down this right-hand side. That little dink is so hard to defend, and you can see everything was right. The technique, timing of Sam Kerr, but I don't think she gets the power on this to direct it where it needs to go. But look, the technique, the way she just moves in the air, you know, that is a sign of a top-class centre-forward. But that dink from Fran Kirby was top class.
Scored in 3 games, Sam Kerr. She was actually saying before the Community Shield that she'd gone into this season very sharp because she'd had a proper pre-season training session. In previous years, she'd gone from Australia to the US and back to Australia again, travelling between the likes of Sky Blue and Chicago Red Stars back to Perth Glory. And it was constant football for her, so she'd enjoyed that pre-season training camp, but she hasn't looked anywhere near at her sharpest.
I think that's a fair reflection. I think people don't appreciate how much you fly in those countries.
That's given away by Bonner, and here's Kirby, and Kirby looks for Kerr. Kerr tries to set up G, and it's going to be cleared away by Mewis, and I think you're seeing the other side of a player lacking confidence there. 12 months ago, she'd have tried the shot, wouldn't she? Yeah,
I think so. I think you've seen, you know, especially as she just missed the header, you know, I think she passed responsibility to G there. But again, it's that Kirby to Kerr link up. It's coming. You can see it's working. You can see it's obviously worked on in training. But again, I think she did just pass that responsibility because G was there, but easily defended in the end.
Beth England is warming up. PFA Player of the Year last season. That's the award voted for by her peers, her fellow players. England international. She had a terrific campaign last season, 21 goals, I think it was, in 24 games, but she's had a bit part role this season where Kerr has started the majority of games in that centre-forward position. There's an obvious change, though. Came on for at Wembley in the Community Shield. Here's Millie Bright. Millie Bright. 7 of the Manchester City side starting today started that game at Wembley. And they lost 2-0, and that's a lovely ball by Harder. Inside Demi Stokes, the fullback to Kerr, and Harder wants it back again, but she chooses a different option, and Kerr has scuffed another one.
Again, we're having flashbacks to the Community Shield here. You know, so many link-up final third entries, the opportunities, creating those. Look at that, everything good that comes from Chelsea is down the right-hand side. She's so composed, Fran Kirby gets her head up. And it's really poor marking, actually, from Man City. Look at the Bonner and Steph Horton are concerned at getting back central, but they don't get up to Kerr. They don't get, you know, she really had so much time there. She could have had a touch.
Scored 4 goals in a single game in the World Cup finals in France. It was against Jamaica, first Australian women's hat-trick ever in the finals. And she's a devastating forward, but at the moment she's off song. And we're in the 55th minute, and Chelsea still have that slender lead. Victory for Chelsea would put them on 10 points, a couple behind the leaders Arsenal and Everton. Arsenal having beaten Brighton 5-0, and Everton having beaten West Ham today by 3-1. Birmingham lead at Reading 1-0. The weekend started with Manchester United's victory at Tottenham yesterday, 1-0, with a looping header from the centre-back Millie Turner. Here's G. Anderson. Cuthbert's across there with her. G pulling the strings again in midfield. Her coach describes her as one of the best in the world in any position. Certainly one of the best midfield creators. Here's Bright. Pressure on her by Caroline Weir, and then by Kelly on Mjolder, but it's cleared away to Kerr. And what Sam Kerr will do in a game, she'll never hide. There's a mistake by Bronze, nicked off her by Cuthbert, and it should have been two, and could have been two.
You're right, look at Sam Kerr. I think what you were going to say, no matter how many chances she misses, she always works so hard for the team, and that flick on there. But all credit to Erin Cuthbert. Look, she saw that Lucy Bronze was delayed on the ball, trying to be too confident. But again, Erin Cuthbert, you know, how, you know, she's so exciting on the ball, how aggressive she is, front foot. She forces the error.
Forced her way into the starting lineup in 4 of their last 5 games, Erin Cuthbert. Brimford of confidence and good form, but that should have been in the back of the net there. And they've missed 2 good opportunities in a matter of minutes to wrap this game up, really.
I think that's something you can say, having watched Chelsea's games this season, that, you know, there's no doubt that they can create chances. It's how wasteful they are in front of goal.
And it comes again. This should be in, and is in this time, and Sam Kerr does get a goal. Oh, look at the face. Look at the face. That's what it means. Chelsea 2, Manchester City 0. We're just shy of the hour. They've created chances. They've ripped the man apart. They should have been 3-4 up by...
But not on this occasion. Look, it's that combination G to Fran Kirby. She's got so much space out there. Demi Stokes is trying to defend it, but, you know, look, we've already seen the warning signs were there. Kirby to Kerr, link-up play, the connection, the partnership that they have. But her enthusiasm, her hard work, you know, she just keeps putting herself in those situations, so all credit to her.
Chelsea 2, Manchester City 0. Long way back for Manchester City in this game. Mewis has it. They need to make a change here. They need to bring Rose Lavelle on. In it comes, bounces off Ellen White, who tries the big extravagant overhead. And Berger will get there. Well, she will complain until the cows come home that it wasn't a penalty in the first half. I think there'll be, again, muted criticism that they should have had a spot kick themselves when Steph Houghton seemed to be caught in that first period. But they cannot complain about their defensive deficiencies here at the start of the second half, because they've given away that second goal far too easily, Laura, haven't they? Yeah, that's right. And here's Fran Kirby again, really struggling to deal with her. You know, look, she attracts 2 players, but she's always willing to wriggle out. She's been so threatening down that right-hand side. But I agree, I totally agree. I don't think Man City have competed enough, created nowhere near enough chances. Looks as if they're going to bring on Georgia Stanway. Gareth Taylor there was just having a little chat with Alan Mahon, who was the interim manager tail end of last season. A former Irish international himself. He was a Tranmere player, started his career at Tranmere, finished it as well. And Emma Hayes is also maybe thinking about a change.
Right, we've got music coming over.
We saw her in conversation down there on the dugout. Here's Cuthbert again trying to feed it through. Bounces away. Again, it's that Chelsea midfield. Any loose ball, and it's a Chelsea player first to the ball, first reacting. That's why they're on top. That's why they're being dominant. Lavelle is going to come on, and Stanway is going to come on for Manchester City, and Ellen White's afternoon finishes. Stanway can play through the middle, did in the Charity Shield. And Rose Lavelle is on for Manchester City. They made the 2 changes. And the USA World Cup star, who was absolutely sensational in France 2019, could be the saviour for them if they can get things going and don't concede again. The US gets it away, quickly back into the box, and Lee Robert comes and claims. Well, double substitution, how will that change things in terms of the way they play, Laura? Well, I'm surprised Georgia Stanway didn't start. She's been pivotal
to everything that Man City have done so far this season, both in cup games and in the league competition. I actually think at some point Gareth Taylor preferred Stanway up front central, preferred her to Ellen White. We certainly, you know, she started off the league campaign with 2 goals away at Aston Villa. So you know, she certainly will need to get on the ball. It looks like she's operating from the left, and actually Rose Laval's gone up front central.
She did play in that Community Shield through the middle, and she was replaced by Ellen White later on in that game with 7 minutes ago. She played very well at Villa on that opening weekend of the season. She was the difference between the two sides. But Lavelle there through the middle, is that her best position? Kelly's gone to the right-hand side. Has gone across there many times, operated across there in the Community Shield. She switched flanks in that game when Lauren Hemp went down with a hamstring injury. She hasn't played since. Kelly on that right. She controls it, and muted appeals from the Manchester City substitutes for a handball there. It was never going to be that. But you can hear everything they say. Actually, the language is fairly good. Yesterday was a bit fruity in the Manchester United-Tottenham game. There's a free kick for foul on Lucy Bronze. Well, Lavelle, in terms of scoring, it hasn't been greatly prolific. Scored 3, mind you, in the World Cup finals. 1 brilliant goal in the final. And a couple for Boston Breakers. When she was a college footballer at the University of Wisconsin Badgers team, her record was 22 and 84. Wide open at the back here, Laura, wide open. Yeah,
there's no way Steph Horton can catch Sam Kerr. She's got the head start, and once Sam Kerr's in a full flow, there's nobody that's catching her.
They need a goal, and they need it quickly, Manchester City. 62 minutes gone. Arced into the box all the way through and punched away by Berger. Close to it is Kira Walsh. And Steph Horton wide on that left-hand side. Decent ball into Lavelle. Quick feet, Lavelle. Plays it into Bonner. And up it goes to Mewis, and they're pressing the box, and Chelsea with all 11 back, really. Cross by Horton is deflected away off Millie Bright. Together they play for England at centre-back. And it's going to be a corner kick for Manchester City. That's better from them.
Yeah, it is a bit of sustained pressure. And Steph, I think she was shooting here. I think she was trying to wrap it round, going far corner, and Millie Bright's done well to get in line with the ball, keep her arms by her side and block it.
Lavelle has come on in that more central position. Left-footed, normally operates in off the left-hand side. Horton's up from the back. Mewis, the tallest player in there. And as Weir's corner kick swings away, met very well. Good header it was, away by Harder, I think. Weir again from the better angle, and wasteful.
Yeah, from set pieces, Man City are normally so powerful, so dominant. You've got Bonner, Horton, Mewis, you know, Lucy Bronze. They're really big, powerful headers. So, you know, the quality, the delivery there from Weir has got to be better if they're going to get back into this game.
Well, Chelsea are going to respond to Manchester City substitutions by bringing Beth England on, it looks, any moment now. And I wonder if they will give Sam Kerr a rest. She's got a goal, which mentally will do her the power of good, having had the missed opportunities, but she's worked tremendously hard. Never hides, does she? Never hides.
No, not at all. But that bite there from Stanway, I think that's what Man City have missed throughout this, especially this game. You know, Stanway, she does like to defend. She does like to be aggressive, getting in amongst it. And, you know, it just lets the opponent know that you're there. It sets the intensity and the intent. And I think Man City have missed that today.
Seems to have been around forever, Georgia Stanway. She's only 21 years of age in Manchester City since she was 15, 16. Joined from Blackburn Rovers. Versatile player is Georgia Stanway. She played in a pre-season game against Everton in a right-back position. She does like a tackle, and the referee is saying no more of those. Did she play left-hand side of a centre-back trio in the Cup against Ipswich last season and scored a hat-trick from there? Definitely got a hat-trick in the game, but it was her penalty that was saved in that 3-3 league draw at home to Chelsea last season that effectively cost the title. Don't forget, this match brought to you by Atta Football. For free access to more premium content, please visit attafootball.com. Making more premium football available to the next generation of women footballers, we hope. International Girls' Day today. And the role of women's football, I think, is crucial in the development for girls in sport all around the world. Do you agree with me, Laura?
Yeah, totally. I think especially now they have so many role models, you know, not only in football but in women's sport, so many role models, powerful women. You know, it's great to see, because growing up in my era, you certainly didn't have that. You didn't have the visibility, so it's so important today.
Well, Plan International, who are behind this day today, had an assessment of 14,000 girls in 22 countries who have suffered abuse on social media. That is astonishingly terrible.
Yeah, it's awful. And I know some of the female footballers are having training and education around social media, because it can be such a powerful, good tool, but also you need to know and understand the negative side to it if you're going to be really active on it, unfortunately.
Steph Horton holding the line there for Manchester City as the free kick swirls in, brilliantly hit. Horton clears it away, and Lavelle had a touch. And here's Weir and Demi Stokes. And just to back to that abuse, social abuse again, some of it is about players' appearance, which is totally unacceptable. A lot of players have suffered from that. I think it's one thing, Laura, if you perform badly for your club or you make a mistake and someone criticises you for that, you'd be prepared to take that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I think so. But I think also, you know, our female players, especially today, have to keep their circle tight. They have to know who to go for advice, and don't look for opinions of people like that to validate their performance. And, you know, I think you have to, you know, respect your teammates, go to them for advice, and listen to your coaches and your managers, because they're the only really opinions that matter.
2-0 Chelsea lead. And here's Bonner for Manchester City. And we'll see Alex Greenwood coming off the bench for them. She could come on for Bonner, she could come on for Stokes. They look for Lavelle. I cannot see Rose Lavelle getting much change out of Bright and Eriksson, especially if she's left as isolated as that. And they push Millie Bright onto a more attacking position. And that's slipped in the square, and they're looking there for Lavelle, and Lavelle gets the cross in. Millie Bright now back in defence for Chelsea, will clear it away. Went up 4 or 5 minutes ago, and Beth England will come on to take up responsibilities up front, and off goes Harder. I'm not surprised to see her on. I'm surprised at the player they've taken off.
Yeah, to be honest, I think that, especially if Beth England, we don't normally see her operate in that role in the 10, if you like, in between the midfield and the forwards. But, you know, Harder has been quieter this second half. It's certainly been the Frank Kirby and Kerr connection. But I just think we need to freshen up, needs a change, and Beth England has the qualities to play anywhere in that front forward line. So it'd be really interesting to see how she links up with Kirby and Kerr now.
Well, we're in the last quarter of the game. And Manchester City will not have given up hope in the game, of course. Lucy Bronze hasn't been able to get away down that right-hand side enough. She's been well marshalled by Cuthbert, and Jonna Andersson, the left full-back, has played really strongly. And she's done enough there to block Chloe Kelly as she advanced down that right-hand side. Very strong, consistent Chelsea back four in terms of selection and performance. What can Manchester City do here with Weir and Demi Stokes? Park and White, the two players to depart. Here's Weir. Hasn't been as influential in this game as she has been in previous matches this season. Horton, this will be a real blow, though, for Manchester City in terms of WSL hopes and ambitions this season, but also confidence blow with the FA Cup final just a couple of weeks away. Millie Bright digs it out. It's been very strong for Chelsea today. She's responded brilliantly, Millie Bright, over the last 18 months, because there was criticism of her in the World Cup finals.
Yeah, but knowing Millie Bright, she works so hard in training, she gives everything. So if you have that attitude and mindset on the training pitch, you're only going to get better. If you keep working through it, she has great coaches. She's willing to learn, take on board advice, criticism, and she's going to work at it. So all credit to her. She doesn't shy away from challenges.
Into Weir. Back it goes to Walsh, very, very deep. See G pressing so high up again. Very difficult for Manchester City to get out, but Mewis now can stride away for them on the counter. Has options, looked for a US teammate, Lavelle through the middle. Stanway was to the left. Kelly was well placed actually on the right-hand side. The ball had too much pace.
Yeah, I think it was the right pass selection. I think Lavelle was the best option for her. She managed to ride the tackle of loopholes. I think that was the right pass, but just because she's having to ride tackles and run at such pace, then sometimes that's what lacks. It's the detail on the end pass that's really going to make the difference.
Kelly back to Lucy Bronze. Here's Mewis again. Leopold is right up tucked behind her. This time too tight. It's a free kick to Manchester City. We'll look to get Stanway in on goal. I'm sure she has 3 goals this season. Mewis, who has netted this campaign, of course, for Manchester City on a couple of occasions. Scored against Tottenham. Stanway was left out. They arc it away towards Georgia Stanway, who took it neatly enough. And look at the work of Sam Kerr again, but it breaks here to Weir. Weir hits Millie Bright. Penalty. Well, she looks baffled again. They have to consider, referees, the distance player to the attacking. What are your thoughts, Laura Bassett?
I don't even think she's looked. She's trying to turn her back, isn't she? So that she knows it's her back that's going to touch the ball.
Well, her arm is outstretched, but again, in the tweaking of the rules, I'll go into that in a minute, because here's Chloe Kelly. Took it very well. That's become the vogue now, the way to take penalties. A little hop, skip and a jump, wait for the goalkeeper to move and then hit it the other way. Good penalty. Yeah,
really good penalty. I saw Chloe Kelly take her penalty live at Leicester in the FA Cup quarter-final. And like you say, she has this unique run-up, but it works for her. She hasn't missed a penalty. Look, what a penalty that is. No keeper's having any chance. She's steps up and delivers. Look at her. She knows exactly what she's doing in those moments.
2-1, game on, and it's her 5th goal of the season already. Took it very well. It's a style of penalties being used in the men's game now as well. Jorginho to Chelsea has perfected it. In comes the ball to Kerr. Tried to roll beyond Bonner. Now out to Cuthbert, and Chelsea look to, again, get a 2-goal buffer. Now, what I was going to say on the penalty, in the tweaking of the application of the handball law, in the last 2 weeks in the UK, referees have been instructed to notice A, how far away the ball has been struck, but B, the movement of the arm in connection with the movement of the body. And I don't think there she was anywhere in terms of deliberate handball. No, she was looking the other way. I think that was harsh.
Yeah, I think, well, it certainly has. Those 2 penalties have been the talking point of the game so far. Yeah, I certainly, you could see Millie Bright's reaction, certainly where she was trying to get her back to it, and as you turn your back, your arm is going to go out that far.
So they brought on a substitute here. Sam Kerr has been rested to the bench, and the Chelsea substitution has been made, and Niamh Charles has come on, who's a wide player, a little fighter with exciting pace on either side, according to a coach signed in the summer from Liverpool. At the 1 start against Arsenal in the League Cup, 57 minutes in the midweek fixture. He played less than 2 hours in all this season, has the 21-year-old. I know that Emma Hayes is a believer of Niamh Charles, born at Wembley in the Community Shield. Yes, I think with the movement of the body and therefore the movement of the arm in consideration, I don't think it should have been a penalty. Here's Kelly. But Manchester City will say justice has been done and things have been evened up. It's still in play. Kept in by Mjelde. Bonner has it. What is certain, though, Laura, we have an intriguing last 15 minutes now, don't we?
Yeah, we certainly do. You know, I'm sure this will spur Man City on. It'd be interesting. I actually think they need Jill Scott on. I think it's more a physical game in the midfield. I still think Chelsea are on top in the midfield, and if anyone's going to create chances, it's going to be Chelsea because they're so dominant in midfield.
England tried to turn it on. Horton cleared it away. And that's run into trouble by Stanway. G is there to pick a pocket and claims the corner kick. Little deflection, took it away. It's a corner ball. I've asked a lot of the England players of the 2015 and 2019 World Cup squads, who's your favourite other player in the squad? And most of you always come up with the same name. That's Jill Scott. She's incredibly popular amongst you players, or former players. Yeah,
just because she's, you know, such a great teammate. She's so hard working for the team, and I think a lot of her work out of possession goes under the radar. She doesn't get enough credit for it.
Corner kick will swing out from the boot here of Maren Mjelde, the right back, scorer of the penalty in the first half. And it's defended well by Weir. Good firm header away. Look at the pace of Lavelle. And the energy, and she'll close down now, and it's sent back intelligently to the keeper, who will get it away from Anderson's back pass. Lavelle, such a sprightly player. Here's Lucy Bronze down that right-hand side for Manchester City. The route blocked off again. I think Cuthbert's had a super game for Chelsea on that far side. Really strong. Kelly into Mewis, and they get that equaliser. That's easy for the goalkeeper. The 2 US World Cup stars on now then. The field of play hasn't happened too often this season for Manchester City. And we've got players dotted around the squad who have had experience in the US. Lucy Bronze herself was there at the North Carolina Tar Heels before she moved to Everton, spells between Sunderland and Everton. Here's Stokes and Bonner. And now Kira Walsh. Lancashire through and through. Manchester City fan, a very good badminton player. She was Lancashire's top badminton player when she was a teenager. Lancashire, one of the counties in England, if you didn't know. We don't have states, we have counties.
Just seeing the aggression from Erin Cuthbert to win back the ball from Lucy Bronze. I think you're right. I think Erin Cuthbert and Jona Andersson on that left-hand side have been so aggressive and nullified that strong Man City threat down that side, because normally Kelly and Bronze, you know, are so impactful for this side. Man City rely on them so heavily.
Oh, a little bit of an error there by Ann-Katrin Berger, being pursued by Lavelle and turned it away. Lovely late afternoon in terms of weather, and this could be another one here for Chelsea. Round the goalkeeper and tucked beautifully in, and Chelsea surely now have the victory against Manchester City. Up to the pace of Kirby, the awareness of Kirby, the cool finish, and it's 3-1 to Chelsea. And Roebuck, rounded on the edge of the penalty area, left stranded and isolated by a defence that was nowhere to be seen, has conceded a third.
Again, what a ball this is from Erin Cuthbert. You know, it's 1v1. Bonner's trying to get closer to Fran, but she's away. Look, she's got the edge, she's got the shoulder. She sees Ellie Roebuck. I'm not too sure she should. That's a good decision. You know, Gemma Bonner's still on her heels. I think Ellie Roebuck just makes it easy for Fran Kirby, makes it easy to take a touch to the side of it, and then it's an easy finish for her.
Came out too fast, too far.
Yeah, I think while you've got a defender there, let defenders defend. OK, she's by Bonner, but Fran Kirby's still got to control the ball. Bonner's in control of that situation. Let her get close, let her catch her up. But by Ellie Roebuck comes steaming out, you just make an easy decision for Kirby there.
Now, Ann-Katrin Berger, having stumbled in trying to clear a few moments ago, has gone down and needs treatment on that left ankle area and is flinching in pain there. They do have Carly Telford on the bench, very respected England international of some 13 years around the England scene. Played in the She Believes Cup in the USA 2 or 3 times. And Jill Scott is going to come on, or has come on, for Manchester City with just over 10 minutes to go. And the thumbs up about the Chelsea goalkeeper. Well, Gareth, Gareth Taylor will be fuming when you got back into the game. You got back into the game, team, and to concede such a sloppy goal as that.
Exactly, it was too easy. Erin Cuthbert picked up the ball. You know, Man City's defence, it was too easy to play that ball. Good run, good timing of run by Frank Kirby, but, you know, it's far too easy. And like you say, having just got yourselves back into the game, you've got to give yourself a chance.
Here's Walsh. I'll try to run it away. Lucy Bronze. Tucked forward and wide to the right-hand side. Walsh is there again. Trying to burrow the way through the middle. Manchester City. It's got a feeling that shouldn't have been a free kick, but it's given against Lucy Bronze. Great composure it was by Fran Kirby. It's sort of goal you couldn't see her scoring in World Cup 2019 because she was suffering from this illness that left her, in her own words, feeling like a zombie at times.
Yeah, but she certainly hasn't looked like that today. She's electric, she reads the game well. You know, her runs have been so electric, and Horton and Bonner know what she's like. They know what she's going to do, but it's so hard to defend against. And she has the licence. You know, we've seen her operate down this right-hand side, be so effective with crosses, taking on players, but that was the first time that we've seen her make a central run. And look how dangerous it was.
Stokes to clear it away towards the halfway line. Well, battling hard. I think it's a Chelsea throw, though, that Mjelde will take. Mjelde in her 30s, Millie Brighton Eriksson in their mid-20s, Anderson in her mid-20s, so they'll be around for quite a while. Turned away by Bonner. Chelsea 3, Manchester City 1. The pre-season favourites for the title. Arsenal have now emerged, though, as strong as they were a couple of seasons ago. Last season, perhaps the Champions League deflected their focus, went all the way to the knockout stages, the mini-tournament in Spain. Here's G. And Mjelde slips it forward, and they've got him behind the offside, I think. And they'll have to get a hurry on here. Roebuck, I think, will look back on that goal and think it was the wrong judgment call, really, to come out so far and so fast. Here's G. And once again, they look to Fran Kirby. A cross goal, always play the percentages if you can, low and fizzing, and Lucy Bronze couldn't keep it in play.
You just know that every time Fran Kirby picks up the ball, the defenders immediately take a step back. You know, she is in full control of the situation, and she's taking the game, and she's implementing her style on the defender, when normally as a defender you want to stamp your authority on that, but when Fran Kirby's on the ball, you just can't do that, because she's absolutely electric.
Cuthbert's been super, hasn't she?
Yeah,
Chelsea.
Both in and out of possession.
In comes a dangerous curling free kick. Mewis was underneath it to head it away. And the header plops out, Millie Bright leaves it. Here's Mjelde. Millie Bright's there in support if she wants her. And here is Bright with a cross into the penalty area. And it should be cleared away now. And it cuts it away poorly. And Leopolds was there. And Cuthbert with the shot that's blocked by Kira Walsh. Kelly back there defending. Look at Cuthbert. Oh, a little ball of energy still on that far side with 83 minutes gone. I think she's been one of the stars of WSL season so far. Yeah,
she really has, and sometimes she's found it hard to get into the team, but when she has, she certainly makes an impact, you know, you would just hate to defend against her. She's there fighting at your heels. She never gives anything up, and never die attitude. And I just think she sets the tone for this Chelsea team. Although you might look to other big names, but she's the one with her behaviours, with her actions, that never disappoints.
Well, if you want a player to come on to keep the ball, hold the ball in the closing 6 minutes of a game you need to win, you bring on Sophie Ingle, and she's come on now to replace G. This is the player that Emma Hayes thinks the GB squad for Tokyo and the Olympics should be built around. And she's just found herself on the outside looking in the last couple of games. Players will need to be rotated through this long and meandering season, which started 6 trophies up for grabs alone this campaign. One of them's already gone, of course, to Chelsea, the Community Shield. Ingle didn't get there, and it'll break here to Stanway. She's got a chance for Manchester City, wants to come back onto her right. Now the left-footed effort, across goal, and it's a real chance, and it fell to Lavelle. Saw it late, perhaps. Awkward on the edge of the 6-yard area.
It was a wonderful ball from Mewis. Look at Georgia Stanway. She wants to cut back in field, but she knows that. Great block by Millie Byte to identify the danger, get across, sense it.
It was a better opportunity than Lavelle knew. Snatched at it, really. Got a little bit of a knock late from a challenge by Eriksson. And the chance went away. This match brought to you by Atta Football. And for free access to more premium European women's football content, please visit attafootball.com. I'm glad you've joined us wherever you are around the world and in the USA. A lot of friends and contacts of myself from San Diego and the Boston areas and New York have been in touch over the last few weeks, and thank you very much for that and watching these fledgling weeks of WSL 2021. Chelsea 3, Manchester City 1, 4 minutes to go. Emma Hayes during a game is never really brimful of joy. She is afterwards. You wouldn't want to argue with Emma, I don't think, really, but she's great. I think she's a fantastic character. I remember at Wembley in the cup final a couple of years ago when she was very heavily pregnant. I think she was due to give birth that day or the day afterwards. There was some concern because it was a baking day, but she was stoic on that sideline. And she's a great character, I think. Yeah,
she really is, and she recruits and puts together a team very well. But on the sideline, you know, I'm sure she looks cool, calm on the outside, but I'm sure she's very animated in her head, going through thousands and thousands of different scenarios and trying to get the best out of her players.
Here's one for you. I think she'd do well in men's football, Emma Hayes. I think she'd be a good coach in men's football. It's going to happen one day. Could she pioneer it?
Yeah, potentially. If that's something that she wants to do, it's all about the individual, isn't it? If that's a big goal of yours, if that's 100% what you want to do, then there's no reason why not. You just have to be savvy about the staff, and you know, she certainly recruits well. You know, she'd have to recruit the staff and the knowledge around her.
Bright's header took it away from her own goalkeeper. That's Charles who balloons it out towards the Chelsea left-hand side. Brilliant take there by Beth England. That's astonishing. Ball dropping over her shoulder, coming out of the sun. Did it really, really well. Nothing came of it, but it was one of the most magical moments of the game in terms of touch and control and technique. And they're nearly there now, Chelsea. And this will be a great boost for them. It will put them within 2 points of the early WSL leaders, but Manchester City would be 5 points behind. A couple of games back then in terms of access to the top of the tree.
Look at that, for Erin Cuthbert to do that in the 88th minute just epitomises her performance and the tone that Chelsea have set throughout this whole entire game.
From the top of the tree, you used to have to climb up through a tree to get to the commentary position here. Rather tricky for some. Laura, I think you'd have struggled with it. For me as an athlete, there's no problem whatsoever. 2 minutes to go. It used to take me about 3 days, mind you, to get up. Now Kelly. Comes a low cross, steered away by Eriksson. Hasn't really missed a trick at the back for Chelsea. And it comes off Bright, and an easy gather in the end for Ann-Katrin Berger, who should get it away. 3-1 the lead for Chelsea. We're into the last minute and a quarter. There will be a little bit of stoppage time for the 2 goals, the substitutions. Game of 2 disputed penalties. In a game, I think, that has been deservedly won by Chelsea. I think we could say it at this stage, when you consider, Laura, they missed those opportunities early on in the half before Kerr got a goal. Bad miss by her, and Cuthbert one-on-one shot over as well. Here's Kirby. And now Charles. And it should be cleared away. What do you think about that?
That's right. I think the final third entries, the chances they've created. You know, I think the pressure, how they've stifled Man City. Man City have never had control of this game, which they normally like to do. They like to control the tempo and play at their pace and switch the ball, but Chelsea just have stifled them. And, you know, how hard Kirby, Cuthbert, Kerr, Harder have worked out of possession that for me, you know, has been a big tick and a big reason why Chelsea have dominated and winning this game so far.
Manchester City moments away from a first defeat in 7 games in all competitions since they lost against Chelsea in the Community Shield. For Chelsea, it will be 26 league games on the spin, unbeaten. They have 4 minutes of stoppage time to navigate. 2 defeats in their last 30 games. Chelsea, the one this season came in the FA Cup quarter-final, away at Everton, rather surprising that day. Subsequently, though, Everton have franked that form and are joint top of the WSL. Lavelle cuts the ball back. Loop long for Jill Scott. And a good shout there, good communication. Ericsson Brighton, the goalkeeper. And you get that with a settled defence.
You do. This back five have played together. They know each other, they communicate, they organised. And between Ericsson and Bright, they boss it. They boss exactly out of possession. They boss everyone in their positions and make that look so easy.
They'll have to win their next 2 games, Manchester City, in the WSL to get back into contention, away at Reading and at home to Bristol City. 2 cup matches in between the two. Small matter of the FA Cup final and the Continental Cup game away at Liverpool in that Northwest regional group. Bonner looks to set Stokes away. Mjelder's had a fine game for Chelsea. I think she was fouled by a frustrated Demi Stokes, but you look around the pitch, Laura. You look at the full-back pairings, you look at the midfield players, you look at the front runners, and Chelsea have been better in most positions, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. I think in terms of what they're giving out of, and then in you know how well Frank Kirby and Erin Cuthbert have played. You know, has been, whereas you look at the opponents and they haven't quite clicked. We've seen flashes of Jess Park in the first half, Stanway, White, you know, they just haven't been as impactful as the Chelsea forwards.
Stokes peers into the glassy autumnal sun as she takes the throw. Chelsea, since going 3-1 up, really haven't looked in too much trouble. Just that one effort, really, that was fairly close from Rose Lavelle. She snatched at it. And there by Ingle. Here's England trying to set Kirby away. Walsh gone there with her. Kirby changed direction, protecting the ball, putting her body between the opponent and the ball. It slipped off her toe last. Stokes with the throw. Awkward that for Stanway, really. And that's going to be a foul. Rose Lavelle jumping into her opponent. Not likely to win that aerial challenge. Tenacious character, Rose Lavelle. Irish ancestry. The player signed from Washington Spirit. Here's a throw then to Chelsea. Prodded out by Demi Stokes. They look a beaten team, Manchester City, into the last minute of stoppage time. 3-1 down. Colonel Stokes should be cleared away now. And it's going to be a goal kick. Just have not been able to impose themselves on the game at all. Bonner. Chelsea awarded the title by 1/10 of a point on the points per game basis. The truncated season last season, but have been at least 2 goals better today. Scoreline says they are only 2 goals better, but I don't think it reads the story of the game. Laura Bassett, a final word from you.
No, I think when 2 opponents like this are so closely matched, I think the big moments play a part, and that's the penalties, isn't it? Big talking points.
2 penalties, talking points. 3 goals for Chelsea. All that matter, really. They beat Manchester City here by 3-1. Welcome back. Sam Kerr among the Chelsea goal scorers, Fran Kirby as well. But let's catch up on the match highlights. Well, they were a beaten team, but they came closest to scoring first in this game through Sam Mewis. from a player who has been in terrific form. Not her day today. Kelly's cross back into the middle was headed over by Millie Bright. That's the closest they came really in that first half. Sam Mewis. A couple of very big talking points. Was this a penalty as a challenge goes in there on Steph Horton? You wouldn't notice it first of all, but watch the replay here. I think she catches her on the foot. This is the one that was given. Right, your view on this. Definitive view, Laura Bassett.
Sees it clearly.
It didn't hit me, says Ellen White. Did it? Does it hit Demi Stokes? Does it hit her on the flank? Don't think it's a handball. But it's struck in anyway by Maren Mjelde. That was 1-0 with 10 minutes left in the first half. Very controversial. Brilliantly taken, though. Scores for the second season in a row at home to Manchester City. And this was the goal, really, that put it beyond doubt. Lovely cross by Kirby, met by Kerr, who'd missed an easy chance just before.
What a team goal that is, from Berger to G on the half turn, a ball into space. And look, Kirby's off, she's away. And look at how quickly Sam Kerr makes the ground up, and that makes it look so simple. 2 passes and you're into the final third.
Say that put the game beyond doubt, because even though Manchester City got back in the game through a penalty, I don't think they ever looked convincingly like getting back to equalise. Millie Bright turning away from the ball, and the penalty given for handball. Very close proximity to the ball striker.
That's right.
For you? Brilliantly taken again by Chloe Kelly with that with the left foot and crack with the right. It was 2-1, but they never pushed on. They never really threatened, and they were left wide open at the back for the third Chelsea goal. Lovely ball up to Kirby, wasn't it, Laura?
Yeah, look how easy it is to play through Man City. We don't normally see that. Then defensively, they're strong, robust, but Chelsea opened them up easy. And I think Ellie Roebuck makes it so easy for Frank Kirby, makes her mind up, goes round her, and then makes it calmly slots it home.
And that was victory secured. They needed one very quickly. Stanway here, went to go inside again, chopped outside. Stanway rather snatched at it. Easy save for the goalkeeper in the end, and the game was gone for Manchester City. Here are the results. Manchester United winning yesterday with the Millie Turner goal. Arsenal beating Brighton, 2 goals from Miedemar there. That's 49 for her in WSL joint record score. Everton beat West Ham United by 3 goals to 1. Couple there for Lucy Graham. And Birmingham won at Reading by 1-0 with Claudia Walker's goal. So here's how the WSL table looks. Arsenal and Everton joint leaders. Chelsea push up to within 2 points of them, but Manchester City 5 points off the league leaders at the moment. Only 4 games played. And the moments of the match brought to you by Fanatis, the app that brings La Liga and South American football to fans in the USA. Oh, was it a penalty, Laura?
Yeah, there was big contact.
You don't know, do you, on that one?
No, the more I see it, the more I change my mind, Jonathan.
But it was in the back of the net. That's all that matters. Mjelde scored. Chelsea led. Well, that was the first goal of the game, and Chelsea's dominance continued after that, with Kerr and Kirby making sure of a famous victory. I hope you've enjoyed it. From Laura and myself and the team, a very good afternoon to you.